Ambassador, obviously NCBA, we're very strong supporters of TPP. One of the primary reasons is the fact that we're currently seeing market loss in Japan, our biggest export market, because of the Australia-Japan agreement that's already in effect. My question is, are there any other opportunities outside of TPP to gain the kind of market access that we're going to see into Japan? And if we fail to move forward with TPP, what kind of message will that send to future countries that we want to strike trade negotiations with?
That's an excellent question. Thank you very much. Again, I think right now TPP does hold that best opportunity in terms of the entree into that dynamic market in the Asia Pacific. And the fact that it's designed as a magnet means you don't have to reinvent the wheel with a new set of countries. You can allow them to accede, again, to the high standard agreement we've set out. And I do think it's important to note that by having that group, you get deeper liberalization. So, the Australia agreement with Japan, of course, has now gone into force before TPP, which puts your product at about a 10-point tariff disadvantage. But if it's just the Japan-Australia FTA, they get down to about a 20% tariff and it stops there. Within that TPP construct, countries working together, giving Japan access to more markets, but also getting it, will all go down to a 9% tariff on beef. So again, the depth of liberalization by doing it through the TPP format is important as well. So a key aspect of that.
Great. All the way in the back, please.
Hi, Doug Palmer with Politico. I guess I wanted to ask about a couple of different things. One, about the tobacco issue. Congressman Reichert has said that might cost as many as 10 to 15 votes in the House. I just wondered, does that mesh with the feedback that you guys are getting from lawmakers up there? And do you think that there's, what arguments do you make to try to persuade those tobacco state lawmakers that this is a good deal after all? And then I know the cattlemen are very excited about the deal, and some of the other ag groups are, but some just seem like they're only kind of lukewarm on the agreement. And I just wonder, are you concerned that the agricultural industry might not really be rushing up to the hill to push for this agreement, that could hamper your efforts to get it done?
Well, actually, I think you see pretty strong support across agriculture. There are sectors that are still doing their analysis. This is not an easy agreement if you have 12 countries at the table. If you look at groups like the Farm Bureau, who have come out strongly in support, they do an economic model every year, but that's not done yet because you have 11 tariff schedules you need to look at in terms of what the value is. But I think what you'll see is a very strong sense of what the value of this really is across commodity groups for U.S. agriculture, so that's something to look for. The tobacco issue is one I think you'll hear more about from the panel here. Again, we are working very closely with stakeholders and with Congress to make sure that there's an understanding of what really is and isn't in the agreement. I think there's a characterization of this as a broad carve-out rather than a narrow opt-out of one particular provision of the agreement. And it's important for folks to understand that the full state-to-state dispute settlement, the SPS provisions, the full tariff liberalization for tobacco in all countries is all present there in the TPP, but often characterized as tobacco not being addressed through this agreement. So I think part of it is an understanding of agreements that aren't always written in the easiest English about what commitments actually apply and what recourse we would have if countries fail to treat our tobacco and tobacco products in a fair manner. We still would expect that all policies related to tobacco be applied in a way that are non-discriminatory. So, again, I think there are a number of provisions there that are beneficial to that industry, and it requires a little bit of education and talking through the different elements of that agreement and how they apply.
So now if you didn't get a chance to ask your question of Ambassador Vetter, don't worry. She'll be returning to the stage shortly when we go to our second Q&A session after I invite the panel up. Please join me in thanking Ambassador Vetter.